1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. Honestly, I wish they would have kept Freddy away from this movie, because this was the first time I've seen this movie cover to cover, and it's just... it was much better when I saw bits and pieces of it when I was little. Let's just say that. But anyway, I am Bobby from Bobby's Breakdowns. What is up? Happy Halloween, everybody, and we are going to be reviewing and recapping an old movie. It came out in 2003. I was 7 and a half. Freddy vs. Jason. I always wondered why they didn't get a sequel, but after watching last night, I really don't wonder anymore. So with that being said, let's dive right in. I'm not going to do my spoiler spiel because this movie's over 20 years old. If this is your first time listening to a review and somehow it's getting spoiled for you, sorry, but here we go. So it begins with Robert Englund playing Freddy, of course. I always love seeing Robert Englund. I've met the man. Very nice man. But they should have kept him away for this one. And he's talking about his reign of terror, and he's coming, of course. And right off the bat, nudity. The girl in the opening scene sees somebody in the shadows, takes off to go running because she is terrified, and of course, she trips. And who stands over her and brutally kills her? Jason Voorhees. Freddy vs. Jason, and we got both of them. Shocking. Kidding. This is going to be a fun, relaxed, kind of sarcastic review. So, we see Jason's mother in a flashback, and Jason's mother just tells him, "You need to go to Elm Street and kill some kids." Okay, fair enough, Mom. We see the kids playing a game in the house while Jason is pretty much stalking them outside of their window. Jason kills one of the teens pretty brutally, honestly. Stabs him like 10 times in the back, and the teens run outside and they're going crazy. And the cop just pulls up and he's like, "Oh, you kids in some need of assistance?" He's the cop from Peacemaker, and he was like a private investigator in Ritter, so he plays the same role a lot. And he's just like, "Oh, you guys need assistance?" And they're like covered in blood, and they're like, "Yeah." Deputy Stubbs is his name. He's trying to get answers on who did this, but the other cops know, but they're keeping it quiet. And they're catching on to it, and Lori just magically remembers her dream, and she sees a man named Freddy in her dreams. Lori has another dream and sees a little girl with her eyes messed up and says Freddy loves little girls. Little weird, but you know, okay. And of course, the iconic Freddy song playing. So then one of the male teens, Blake, has a nightmare and he sees Freddy, but he eventually gets out of it. But he wakes up and his dad's right next to him. Blake's best friend Trey was murdered by Jason. So he wakes up and he looks at his dad. He's like, "Hey, Dad." His dad's head just completely falls off the body and onto his lap. And it's like, okay. And then who comes out? Jason. Jason just takes him out, no problem. And another one bites the dust. In the next scene, we find out that Will, who was in a mental asylum and is like the ex-lover of Lori, he thinks her dad killed her mom. And that's why he went to the mental asylum. He breaks out, of course, because that's what they all do in these movies. And he goes to the school and somehow just nobody catches on that he's there for like at least 10, 15 minutes later. And one of the kids is telling Lori about Freddy's history, and he's like, "Don't go to sleep. Make coffee your best friend." He's like, "He's coming for you." And very reassuring, and way to go, bud. And of course, in typical horror movie fashion, while people are getting murdered out there, they have this big party in the cornfield. It's almost like a lot of people could die out there. We'll get to that. Freddy antagonizes one of the teens in like an old boiler room type thing, but it has lockers. She falls over one of the railings and like, you think she falls to her death, and Freddy's just like, oh. Like he's disappointed because he 100% thought she was dead. Freddy eventually gets her, And then Jason kills a dude in a cornfield, and somehow Freddy realizes Jason is coming for Laurie. He's like, no, she's mine. Jason then continues his rampage in the cornfield, snaps the dude's neck clean, just completely the other way. And as he's walking through the cornfield, on fire, mind you, he throws the machete like 50 feet, and it just goes through the guy's heart and just takes him out. And then after that, he's just taking souls left and right at this party. It's pretty insane. We go to the next scene. We see one of the characters from earlier that was yelling at Laurie about Freddy. And he has a dream about his brother who unalived himself. And his brother is Scott Farkas from A Christmas Story. I was like, oh, hey, nice to see you, bud. Freddy then proceeds to kill that character, and he brands him on his back, saying, Freddy's back. The next scene was the virgin sacrifice scene. That was all types of weird. Hats off to you, Robert Englund. You did really, really good, but that was weird. Then one of the kids in the group, who I call Timu Matt Riddle, you wrestling fans will know what I mean by that. Dude gets so high. Long hair. Dude, bro. Sees an animal at the hospital, because they're there to see all the victims that are in comas. And Jason then makes an appearance and absolutely fries Officer Stubbs to death. Freddy at one point takes the form of the stoner and tries to stab Jason with the drug, but it doesn't go well. Unless you consider getting legitimately cut in half a good day. If you do, hey, that's a good day, but it was a little rough. And then we finally get one of the fights. Freddy versus Jason. Almost sounds like a movie that should be made. Maybe they will down the line. Jason has the upper hand at first, but then Freddy drops something heavy on Jason, and he's like, why won't you just die? The fight kinda ends for the minute when Freddy causes water breaks in the ceiling, and he realizes that's what Jason is afraid of. And Jason's frozen in fear, and he's like, oh, so there is something you're afraid of. Jason then turns into a baby form, like when he died, a kid. And Freddy was like, okay, I'm going to go deep in this man's brain. And he does. And we go back to the early days of Camp Crystal Lake, the happy days before Jason drowned. Laurie tries to go back and save Jason, but it ain't working. Freddy's back there, and he's trying to drag him under the water again. While in one of the dreams, for Laurie, we find out it was Freddy who killed Laurie's mom, not her dad. And that's who Will saw. Meanwhile, the other kids are trying to wake up Laurie to get her out of the dream from Freddy, and are trying to kill Jason, both failing miserably at first, until Jason comes back and fights off Freddy for like a minute. So then we see Kaya, who's played by a young Kelly Rowland. Hello, Destiny's Child. She has a moment with Freddy, calls him a very rough name. And even Freddy was like, huh. She does good with the monologue until Jason comes in and just like baseball swings her into a tree. And yeah, she's dead. Freddy and Jason fight yet again. And a lot of damage gets done, but also not a lot of damage gets done because, well, you can't kill these dudes. Well, something more. Freddy gets the upper hand and at one point puts the glove through Jason's eyes and face. That was pretty gnarly, not gonna lie. You think it would be it, but no. Laurie distracts Freddy just long enough to set the bridge on fire that they are both fighting on, Freddy and Jason. And the bridge gets blown up and sends them both into the water. And now to the end of the movie. Laurie and Will think they are safe for a minute, until Freddy stumbles over with one arm and is about to end them. But Jason, in his final moments, stabs Freddy, and that hurts Freddy a lot. And that leads to Laurie chopping off Freddy's head to end the madness. The movie officially ends with Jason walking out of the water with Freddy's head in his hand, and Freddy winks at the camera, setting up a sequel that never came and probably never will. I'm glad the sequel will never come. Yeah, overall, not a great movie. It's fun at some points. It's funny at some points. It's like a 4 or 5 out of 10. I don't know. But I wanted to give you something Halloween related to, end the month strong. I think the next few videos we're going to be diving into Batman again because Andy Muschietti, the director of Brave and Bold, said news is coming in the next few months. So we could talk about castings, news, all that jazz. And and then we'll be at Thanksgiving before we know it, because we were at Halloween before we know it. Crazy, folks. But until next time, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Plenty more content coming, just like I said. And I am Bobby from Bobby's Breakdowns, and we will see you in the next one. Later.